Hollie Foust with Bryant Consultants, and I'm here today with Jay Lewis, co-owner and vice president of Fifth Gear. And Jay and I are having some conversation today about compliance and onboarding and what we're seeing in dentistry. And I just want to get honest with Jay and find out like what he's seeing. So the best education for my Bryant Consultant team members and all of our clients and all of our team members is knowledge. So Jay, I'm going to the best. So I'm gonna pick your brain. Tell us about what you're seeing.
Well, we see one of two examples. We see offices that really understand how important the security is, and they're like, we want everything that we can possibly have. What do you know, what all can you do? Annual risk assessments and employee training are kind of at the forefront right now, mainly because the industry's changed from you should have a firewall, you should have employee training, to cybersecurity insurance companies, which we all need one, right?
Yeah, that's a new thing. It's
Yeah.
a foreign idea, and docs are thinking, I've never heard of this. You're selling me something, but it's legit. Like, you need to protect your...
Well, and you need about $1 million or more of cybersecurity insurance, because it can get expensive very quickly if you have an event. And so when you get cybersecurity insurance, you're going to get a big form to fill out. And so business owners don't understand it. We get it. We fill it out for them.
Right.
But then it's going to be very specific on the hardware, the software, and the security protocols that you have in place. And you can't just say you have them. You have to document that you have them. You have to be able to produce that documentation.
Oh, so that's a big word. That's a big buzzword in tech world right now, is documentation that the process has been done. You have to check boxes, not just that every team member took the test, and never every new employee who you onboarded took the test, but you actually have to document the process of what you do in your office.
Exactly, because if you have an event, and we're all going to have an event, you know, we can't say that we're going to keep someone from getting hacked. That would be a lie.
Wow.
We're all going to get hacked. I mean, we see it on the news every day. Companies that have millions and millions of dollars of server rooms and IT people and everything that you can throw at it, they still get hacked. So when we're talking to a dentist or other business owner, we let them know that you're going to get hacked, but we're here to help reduce the blast radius.
That's such a good way to put that, the blast radius, because it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. So when it happens, they're going to file a cybersecurity insurance claim.
Okay.
That company then is going to require a forensic investigation, not of our own, but with a third-party company. And they charge usually somewhere about $1,000 an hour. So very quickly you can get into that $40,000, $50,000 range on that forensic investigation.
Wow.
And they're going to dig
and
apart
what's in a
everything.
forensic investigation? Is that everybody's device in the office, every team member, every computer, every...
They're going to look at everything to see if data, left the network or if it didn't leave the network. They're going to look at all of our security procedures. They're going to ask for all the documentation to show, because at the end of the day, the cybersecurity insurance companies, they're getting soaked right now. And so they're tightening up everything to try to have as many exclusions as they can so they don't have to pay out as much. So they're not there to necessarily help as much as they are to kind of find fault. Like, did you do everything that you say you were doing? Where's the documentation?
Right.
And so...
because they got to protect their own too.
They have to protect themselves.
So are you seeing more and more small businesses network and privatize to kind of stay alive, but to kind of like stay secure, keep their team members updated? Like,
it's one extreme or the other. Either they're like, hey, throw everything we can at this. We don't want to be on the news. We don't want to be hacked. I value my livelihood. I like the things that I have and I want to keep them.
Right.
Or they put their head in the sand and they just kind of hope that, well, if we really don't address it, it's not really a problem. And those are obviously tough ones to help,
Right.
Because if they don't see the value in what we're doing, then it's just a number on an invoice.
Right. I really love the proactive approach that you all take. I love the initiative to set some standards, not allow people to fall below the standard.
Right.
And really say, come in and go, hey, we got to help train your team.
Absolutely.
We got to teach them. We need to see their phones. We need to help them set up security on their phones for themselves. And we're gonna get real with this.
One of the first things we'll do is we'll come in and we'll do a risk assessment to kind of get a baseline of where we're at. And then that sort of sets, the standard from there that like, okay, we started here.
Yeah.
And hey, look where we are now after 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And we obviously should be trending to where people are opening less phishing emails.
Phishing emails, they're
Yes.
drowning us.
Yes.
They're drowning every piece of software.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't matter what software you work with. If it's a third party, you're like getting drowned with just phishing
Absolutely.
emails. And
they're more clever.
yeah. And that's more risk.
It is. And, AI, that's the big buzzword and everything now.
Another
It's
one.
certainly here to help us. In one way it's harming us is that we could all tell when we got a really broken English email that it was probably phishing. Well,
Right.
thanks to AI now, they can translate that in perfect English. So
what are you seeing in dentistry with private practices and these phishing emails and it's patient records?
they're getting more and more serious, especially when things hit really close to home, like the Henry Schein breach, which is a global supplier. That's a brand name everyone in dentistry recognizes.
Everybody started looking up going,
Yeah,
Schein got hacked, and then we saw that was like a flood broke. It was like a pandemic in a pandemic type of situation because
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're short everything and
yeah.
they
Well,
can't
and
take
dentists
payments
can't.
and-
Yeah, they can't order anything. I mean, it was a mess.
But no one understands the mess because sometimes we're just like right here and we're like, oh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end
I
of the
didn't
day,
hear
this
that.
isn't what
I
dentists
just-
signed up for in dental school, right? They wanted to take care of patients. They have a love
Right.
for dentistry and to take care of their patients. And, some of them see this as just noise, and others are like, you know what, I have to do this in order to be
And I
able
need
to practice
partnerships.
dentistry. And I need a partnership. I need someone that understands it, takes it serious, and will help hold us accountable.
Jay, this is what we're creating. So we're creating online education for our dental offices that are the standard. We're kind of setting the bar of what the practice should be. We're trying to create content for security. So they have security training. Like this is what every new hire has to have.
Certainly.
Here they have to go through this online training module. This makes sure that they understand basically your assessment in the office put online, and then here it is, and they have to click the buttons and take the education and take the test so that they are controlled risk in an office.
That's a
Before
good
they
way to
ever
put
even
it. I
walk
like
in the
that
door.
term
But
because
that
we're all
controlled risk is vetted and spend time together and make sure that they're not going to basically bankrupt your company because they didn't onboard well.
right.
Doctors hate change and they hate inconveniencing people and they're shorthanded and they just need somebody to get going. But the risk
And
of
and
just
and
hiring somebody off the street and trying to train as you go.
yeah, well, and you brought a good point that triggered a thought there is that, when there's a breach and then there's the claim and it was due to an employee clicking on a phishing email, the first thing they go to is how was the employee trained? When was the employee trained? And that type of thing. And so you have to have that
Show me your
documentation.
checklist.
Yep.
Show me what you've done.
Yep. We have a weekly micro training that goes out. It's 3 to 5 minute video. There's a little quiz that you can take. So,
That is so
again, for the
freaking good.
documentation, right? That
Yes. And y'all have already created this quiz.
Correct.
And y'all already know the compliance. See, that's what I want to do at the practice is I want to have all these trainings by all these cool people who already are specialists in your field. that you all put out the training and you all keep the compliance and you all help partner with the doctors and make sure that we're less at risk, but do it in a way that the doctor has to do it in the onboarding. Right? Like you onboard an employee, they have to take this. They have no choice.
Right. Yeah. As soon as we plug that employee in to that dental office's list of employees, then they're automatically they start getting everything.
And then they get the weekly, and they have to comply, and they all have to take the test. Man,
well, and then kind of fun behind the scenes for the dentist or the business owner is that, or the practice manager, is they can see everyone's employee index score, so they can kind of see who's doing the quizzes and who's not, or who's maybe not performing so well. Not obviously to get that employee in trouble, but who might need a little bit more attention. You know, maybe they're careless, or maybe they're not doing any of the micro trainings in their score slides. It's an opportunity for someone, you know, to take action as opposed to just assuming that everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I tell doctors, you gotta, like, you're gonna stay a private practice if you have like great training, great commitment, and great compliance. Like, you gotta have those things. And if you make it fun, then you'll, you know, hang out with your friends all day and do pretty cool dentistry and, you know, stay pretty safe. But I like what you all have created.
Thank you.
So Fifth Gear, tell me, how do you get a hold of Fifth Gear? What do you all provide to doctors, and, you know, what can they expect from you guys?
Well, easiest way to get in touch with us is to give us a call.
Okay.
Ask for myself, Jay Lewis, or for Mike Brooks.
Okay. We'll put that number up.
Yep, our number's 615-606-3121.
Okay.
That's the best way to get in touch with us.
Okay. Do you do a risk assessment of whatever they've got already, and kind of tell them where maybe there's some issues or where they need to improve on their security?
Absolutely. So if someone said, hey, we're interested, what's the next step? We would come out, we would obviously look at their office, look at their current network equipment, maybe ask what some of their procedures are around email and security. We'd put some software on the network to start scanning, because we don't just do a scan of the network, but we actually scan individual computers.
Okay.
And we're looking for files such as an Excel spreadsheet, maybe from payroll, for example, that has all the employees' social security numbers and dates of birth. That's a big no-no, to have an unprotected sheet on your computer. You'd be surprised how many times we find that.
I'm not surprised.
Or,
no,
or they've
I want to talk about
exported
this.
the whole patient database to send Christmas cards. And then they didn't take that back off. So now they have their entire patient database in an Excel spreadsheet just sitting there outside their network. But they think that it's in the cloud and that they're safe.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So how do y'all deal with that?
Well,
That gives you an
awareness.
educational knowledge base of where maybe training needs to happen.
Sure.
So,
Well, obviously that's an educational point, but it's also risk management. It's like, hey, you know, based on the average fine amounts for this, you have $300,000 worth of fines sitting on this one computer. We need to get the Excel spreadsheets off, or we need to, you know, password protect them. So part of it is education, and part of it's, hey, here's our to-do list. Here's things that we're going to come right in and reduce your risk.
and does that determine, like, okay, we're going to need 4 hours of team training, like everybody's got to train, or hey, we've got to have weekly training because we have to teach your team how to use a computer?
Yes, so
I mean,
depending on how bad things are,
Yeah.
obviously that could dictate that it might need more time.
okay.
But as a general rule, if they're having us come in and they've never had IT, it's a pretty lengthy onboarding process, because if they have been using free email this whole time,
Yes.
which there's
I know
zero
about these
security
free
on,
emails,
and we're moving them over to, you know, their .com and setting them up. We might even be teaching them how to use Outlook.
Okay.
So we'll start as basic as we need to.
Wow, that is so good, because, you know, dentistry needs this. They need that somebody who can speak the language and go, wait, you know, we've got to make sure you are educated enough in the basics to actually keep yourself secure
Yeah,
at home. I mean, because home's going to affect, like, work, right?
absolutely.
So if you can't run your own house, and, you know, you've got a, let's say you've got a Weave icon on your, you know, cell phone, and you get hacked at home, holy cow, there's some issues there,
There's a
security-wise.
false sense of security of stuff being in the cloud, and 80% of the attacks now are on the cloud because that's where the gold is at. So that's where the hackers are going. And a lot of times the doctors don't realize that if they can just get on your computer and get your saved username,
Yeah.
password, and get into your cloud-based patient software, they can export the whole patient database and be gone, and you'll never even know.
Wow. So, if you could leave doctors with one piece of advice right now, just to kind of self-assess their security, what would you say?
It'd be tough to boil it down to just one thing because there's so many things.
Okay.
But I would say a good starting point is go get cybersecurity insurance.
Okay.
And when you get that ridiculous form to fill out, give us a call.
Oh, good. I like
And
that.
we'll walk you through the form, and we'll tighten up those areas
Yep.
that would otherwise be checked no on the insurance form and open you up to exclusions.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is so important for people to know, but also to know that there's a program that we could hopefully partnership and just train our team members to where they can be compliant for themselves, and they can really protect the practice, protect themselves, learn
Yeah.
something.
Well, employees can take this home too, right? The same
Yeah.
things that they practice, safe email, that type of thing at work, it'll help with their personal finances too, because what we never hear about is someone getting hacked at home and their information stolen.
And that's what I'm all about is just I want to share. I want to share practice information, good practice information, which is best practice.
Mm-hmm.
I want the highest level of security taught. So then you know, and if you don't know how to keep yourself that secure, here's 4 other programs I want you to take before that to get you to where you can have the most basic knowledge all the way up to here's the gold standard.
Right.
Here's where I need you to be. I need you to be functioning right here.
Absolutely.
Because
We're lucky we have some dentists that are all over this cybersecurity thing. They're very well versed, and it's kind of a fun conversation when you can talk nerd talk to a
Absolutely.
dentist, because in most cases they don't have any knowledge. It'd be like me trying to speak about dentistry.
Yeah. Which comes to terms with social media marketing. I mean, it's what we do. It's the buzzword. It's the part that it makes everybody uncomfortable, but it's also how you market your business, right?
Right.
So social media is, on the internet. It's putting our team members at risk. I mean, how many hacks, how many pieces of social media is being shut down, and doctors are being shut down because, somebody was answering a DM
Yeah.
from a phishing email, and then all of a sudden, guess what?
Yeah.
Their account got shut down.
Well, and AI
Yeah.
can hurt us again.
Which is the buzzword in dentistry. So here we
Right.
go.
So-
Isn't that internet? So
Yeah.
now we're internet, and then our cloud-based practice management systems. Isn't that internet? It's on the internet,
Yeah.
but we don't have all the knowledge. And how do we protect ourselves? We have to educate every employee. We have to educate, right? The
Yeah,
community.
well,
We have
something
to-
as simple as passwords. We're creatures of habit, right? We like to use our dogs' names and our kids' names and things like that in our
Or
password.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Oh, wait a
That
minute.
one's
1,
not
2, 3,
secure.
4, 5.
If I had a 6 to it, I think it's more secure, right?
Okay. But what if I put an exclamation mark in there?
Yeah. Well,
So double authentication, there's now thumbprints, there's all these things, and
the
everybody's...
second factor of authentication is huge. A lot of people really don't understand what that is. But it's
and-
exactly what it implies. It's a second factor of authentication. So if someone steals your username and your password, unless they have the rolling 6-digit code that changes every 30 seconds, they can't get in. And so almost everyone provides two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
But it again, things that we find, it's amazing how many people, they're annoyed by it, it's an inconvenience, and they won't use it.
Or when they all get inconvenienced by their password changes at work on the
Right.
software, and they're like, oh, why is this doing this to me? Can you not enable this? And everybody wants to just please each other, and you're like, no, no, we're not going to enable this. You have to be compliant.
Yeah, well, and you know, things have changed a lot in our industry. You know, we used to give in sometimes to a doctor that says, I don't want my password to ever expire on my computer.
Yeah.
And because of liability reasons, see, we have cyber security insurance too. And we're
Sure.
held even a higher standard because they're insuring us to manage others.
Yeah.
And then our cybersecurity attorneys, they're like, you have to dictate the terms.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, we have become like a doctor. You don't go tell your doctor if they say you need to have this surgical procedure done. You don't start dictating prices and terms.
Right.
You either do it or you don't. And
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at in our industry of we can't allow the business owners to dictate what they want and don't want because of convenience factor. There's too much liability for us. There's too much liability for them.
Yeah. It's going a lot more niche and a lot more like just community and relationships, and I love it. I think it's great to just get back to, you know, teaching and getting people to be engaged and onboarding. Onboarding. It's like my buzzword of the year is onboarding. We have to onboard.
Yeah.
We have to recruit. We have to, you know, get people to work and figure out with whatever their obstacles are, and we have to train them.
Yes.
So I'm like, we have
Continuous
to train
training.
people but I'm like, we have to train people from the ground up right now.
Yeah.
So I'm recruiting kids from high schools.
Wow.
I mean, that's going to be the age group that works in our field, is getting an 18-year-old that just got out of high school that really doesn't know what they're doing. They just, you know, need a summer job. So, hey, come wash some instruments, come in here and, you know, see if there's an environment that you want to work in.
Yeah.
So, and
Well,
it is.
and they already understand two-factor and all the other things because
Yeah.
it you know, they use it every day for everything they do. Why wouldn't you turn that on?
Yeah, so I've taken an old idea and brought it back new and refreshed it with some social media, and we're recruiting and we're teaching people from the ground up how to do dental administration, how to do dentistry, dental assisting, get a certificate, grow, you know, their knowledge base by watching a video. So we want to teach, you know, with the best of security and help people to be like walking into the door ready to work. And that way, you know, they can kind of name their price and have good relationships and good knowledge and get paid their worth. So I think it's kind of changing. I love it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting to see. But that younger generation, you're going to have to engage them. And
Right.
you're going to have to, you know, let them write a ticket of social media and having their phone and, you know, whatever. So, but we have to train, and we have to train differently. So I'm rallying support with online training. Like, I think online training is a great asset to every office and compliance training and just onboarding differently.
Yeah. No, everything has changed online education.
Yeah, and if you can do that and give them a password, like, you know, a month early and figure out their life and let them come in, you know, rolling, I think that's so cool. And I don't know. I think that we have to embrace the change, right?
Right.
So I like it. So if you need anybody for your IT training, you need IT training for yourself. You need to understand more about compliance and insurance. Give Jay a call and he'll take good care of you.